All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Kelsey Maynor. I am the small business advocate for Invest Atlanta. I'm excited for you all to be here because we're having a great conversation today with two of my favorite people who I see often. So I'm excited to have them here as well. But this is our small business webinar series. We try to do at least two a month to make sure that we're communicating with our small business about up and coming events, up and coming organizations, resources that you need that you should be aware of that are here in the city that are for you. So today we'll be talking about artificial intelligence, AI, and we're familiar that this is a conversation that we're having everywhere. Everybody's talking about AI, so we wanted to make sure we talked about AI to grow your small business. So before we get started, I want to tell you some house rules. The house rules is this. Yes, this webinar is being recorded. We are recording this webinar and it will be emailed to you tomorrow. Once it's all done, I'll send you an email. It'll also have the contact information for the two people who are on this webinar as well. So you don't have to worry about trying to find their information. I'll send you an email, have their email addresses in there so you can contact them as well. I want to make sure we're clear. It's being recorded and I will email it to you with the contact information for everybody who's presenting. Now we got that out of the way. One more thing. The second thing is, yes, we're about to do a presentation about AI and how it can help you grow your business and things that you can adopt today to support your business needs. And if you have any questions, there's a chat button at the bottom of the screen. If you go to your chat, you can input questions, and towards the end of the presentation, we will answer those questions. Unless it's something that I read, I'm like, oh, that's a good question, I'm gonna interject. But other than that, if you have a burning question, just type into the chat and we'll be sure to address all your questions towards the end of the presentation. With that being said, if you're not familiar with Invest Atlanta, Invest Atlanta is the economic development arm of the city of Atlanta. And we focused on making sure that we can make the citizens and the business in Atlanta not just survive, but thrive. And we do that by working in community development, by helping with affordable housing and developing affordable housing, but also with business and make sure that our small businesses have access and opportunities to grow. And so with that being said, I want to introduce there are two people who are on this webinar today. We have Jeff Morris and Miss Kimberly Lee. How are you guys doing?
Good, good. Thanks for having us, Kelsey.
My
Yes,
pleasure. My
thanks for having
pleasure.
us.
I've been trying to get you guys together for a long time. I feel like it. So I'm glad everything worked out, better late than never. But if you're not familiar, guys, we can read Jeff Morris is the program manager here at Invest Atlanta. And I think that title doesn't serve him enough justice because behind the scenes, Jeff is orchestrating and controlling a lot of the things that happens for our small businesses as far as technical assistance and your access to business consultants and programmatic things that happen for your business through Invest Atlanta. So Jeff is definitely a key player. And then Kimberly, as it states here, is the Senior Director of Entrepreneurship and Economic Development for the Urban League for Greater Atlanta. So her hand is in everything else small business and economic development. So we have two heavy hitters here to discuss some of the things and products that are out there that they've been using and supporting for small businesses. Y'all got anything y'all want to say?
No, Kelsey, what I would like you to do is take a poll early and just have them shoot in the chat how many people are actually utilizing AI in their business today, just so we can have an understanding of who our audience is.
It's a great question. So let's do that. Everybody is out there, do me a favor. In the chat, in the Q&A section, put, if you're using AI right now, Ayana says, I'm using it right now. If you're using it, I'm using it. William Schaffer said, I'm using it. Gianna said, I'm using it. I use AI. They say they use it. I'm using it right now. Well, do me a favor. What are you using? What particular part of AI are you using for your business? Throw that in the chat as well, or the Q&A as well, so I can see. One person said, not yet. I'm not using it yet, but I'm getting started. Not yet. But it seems like we have quite a few people in here saying they're on top of it. ChatGPT for email marketing and social media posts. Descript. We'll have to look into that. I might look into that while we're talking. Descript, ChatGPT. A lot of people are using ChatGPT to formulate ideas. A lot of people are using ChatGPT. ChatGPT is fairly popular. Drafting letters.
We'll, we'll
Absolutely.
we will open up some different tools for them to utilize because there are so many out there.
Absolutely. Well, let's go on to the presentation then. Jeff,
All
let you
right.
take it away from here.
Thank you. What is AI? Folks think that AI is a robot coming to take your job, but it's really not. It's technology that's going to help you improve a lot of things that you do. It is rapidly transforming industries across the globe, and small businesses are no exception to that. By automating tasks, enhancing customer service experiences, and improving decision making, AI can help small businesses grow and succeed. This presentation will help you provide you with a basic understanding of AI and how you can use it to benefit you in your business. We can go to the next slide, or if Kimberly wants to add or Kimberly wants to jump in later, you just let me know. But slide 3, some benefits of AI. AI system can learn and adapt over time, making them increasingly powerful tool to use. Now, when you use your AI, there are small buttons that allow you to check off if you like what it produced. And if you check those small buttons up, those sometimes they have a thumb and they'll say, did you like this? When you check those thumbs, the more information you put into the system, into the tool, it'll start producing things that are more like what you enjoy receiving. So it's an adaptive tool that learns for your the way you produce work. There are many types of AI, but some are more common and include the machine learning, the deep learning, and the natural language processing. Machine learning algorithms learn from the data to identify patterns and predictions. Deep learning algorithms are types of machine learning that use artificial natural networks to learn complex patterns from data. Natural language algorithms allow computers to understand the process of human language. So again, helping you understand how you put information into the system is what you need to get out. Something that you need to consider is fact checking. Because these tools are full of data, you still have to verify a lot of the information. The benefits of AI. AI can help small businesses to increase efficiency by automating repetitive tasks such as data entry, customer service, and marketing. It sounds like a lot of people are using it for some of those tasks as well. Also, enhancing customer experiences by providing personalized recommendations with 24/7 support and insight on customer sentiment, which is huge because it gives you the ability to hear back immediately from your customers and be able to adapt and reach out to them and make those improvements. Helps you improve decision making by analyzing large databases to identify patterns and trends. And it reduces costs and improves profitability. Next slide, please. Samples of efficiency. It can help you automate such tasks as bookkeeping and accounting. That's something that's really big because a lot of bookkeepers and accountants, they're feeling a little threatened by what AI can do. But if we are being honest, accounting numbers are probably the Achilles tendon for AI because the numbers that they produce most of the time are not accurate. Another thing that can help you with is email management, appointment scheduling, social media marketing, and inventory management. Next slide.
Question. Hold
Yes.
on. Kim Kimberly, have you seen any accounting AI tools?
None. I'm shocked to even be reading that. I'm like, wow. No, I didn't know that there was such thing, but email, yes, but not accounting. I'll have to
See,
ask our accountant now since it came up.
me too. And Jeff is the certified financial person. So Jeff, real quick before we move on to the next slide, talk to me real quick. If there's one accounting AI tool that you've seen, what is that? Just so I can look it up while we're talking. I'm just curious. I've been trying to figure out ways to um I've been trying to figure it out.
I don't know, Kelsey. I have not come across any AI tools that focus on accounting or bookkeeping or finance. Again, because that's one of the weakest links with AI, artificial intelligence, is that the numbers are random and they're majority of the time they're not accurate. So I don't
Hmm.
know the answer to
I
that.
have seen people use like Chat GPT or Chat AI to input something and it tells you how to do it for Excel. Oh, I got somebody in the chat. Give me something good. Chat GPT, yes, can process commands if you enter into it. Yes, that is correct. As I was saying, Chat GPT, you can put in certain commands for like Excel and things like that as far as financial conversations, but I haven't
Mhm.
seen anything in that space of accounting, and I am looking for it. So all right, we'll keep talking until we figure it out.
If someone has it, let them put it in the chat so we can check it out afterwards. Okay, customer experience examples. AI can be used to provide personalized product and recommendations, offer 24/7 support through chat boxes, track customer sentiment and identify areas of improvement, and segment customers and target them with relevant offers. Now, I know a lot of folks use Amazon, and if you notice, when you search something in Amazon, a lot of things that are familiar or that will uh, accompany that purchase comes up right after you start searching that. That is artificial intelligence. That is the system looking at your trends, your recent purchases, your purchases in the past, and they're letting you know, hey, you purchased this before. Or do you need it? It's been 3 months. It's been 6 months. You purchased, toothpaste a couple of months ago. Do you need to purchase toothpaste again, or whatever the case may be? That's artificial intelligence. Number 7, next slide, please. Decision-making examples. So AI can be used to forecast demand and optimize inventory. When you go into the stores, any store now, Home Depot, Walmart, that inventory system, as soon as you swipe it, boom, it's out of their inventory. And once that happens, it's already being ordered through their system. So the next shipment is going to have one to replace the one that they have. So if you look, when you see those barcodes are very important because that's what controls the inventory. So now instead of controlling inventory in real world, everything is online and it's being replaced as soon as you scan it out and pay for it. So it helps you assess financial risk. The financial risk, like insurance. If if you see a lot of automobiles with those things in the dashboard, they're monitoring your driving and they see how fast you brake, how often you brake, um, how fast you accelerate, when you change lanes, if you're touching your phone. All those things are assessing your risk as a driver, and that affects your driving record because it affects the insurance that they're going to charge you. So if you're a reckless driver, believe me, it's going to catch up to you because you are more prone to have accidents, and that's how insurance companies assess your risk as a driver. Helps you make better pricing decisions with the business. You could see what's trending. You could see and track other companies that are selling similar items because you may have a really good product, but if somebody has a product for $2 less than yours and you're not charging shipping and they're not charging shipping, guess where that sale is going to go? That's a big key for Amazon, that free shipping. But they're also cutting back on that because people are taking advantage of it. They're ordering all these things and then they're returning them. So that's costing them money. Also, AI can help you personalize your marketing campaigns. You know that for those people who are on this call who put in that they are using it, you can make anything as personalized as you want. I read this story where some people were upset because they were writing eulogies for people that passed away, and they're saying that instead of AI doing it, a person should do it. But A person can't probably articulate their feelings like that, but the computer can, the system can. And you have to, again, put your personal touch on it, but it just helps you get to that end result.
That's interesting because I feel like half the people more than half the people that's on this webinar right now have used it to write an email, whether it's saying, "Hey, I thank you so much for looking at my business, for thank you for taking my resume," or I quit. I'm pretty sure we're using Chat GPT to write emails currently. So I think it'd be interesting to use it for everything else. I think ChatGPT and these chat bots are being really good at, like you said, the more information you put in, the more they're receptive of it. I like to have a conversation, say, "Hey, I'm writing this. Can you help me write it this way?" I think even on Canva they have it now. Said, add a little bit of fairy dust to this. I don't know, make it fancy. So I think that's interesting to be upset about that.
The most important thing with these AI chat boxes are your prompts, right? It's your prompts are the directions that you give to the system to produce the product that you want. So you could say something like, write this as if I'm a professor of English teaching freshman college students in philosophy. And the more specific you are in your prompt, the more accurate that description is going to be to help you produce that end result. Next slide, Kelsey, please. I think you wanted to talk about a couple of things on this one. So I'll just talk about the one that out of this list that I use. It's Bard, and Bard is the chat box from Google. And what I've noticed from Bard versus the other ones that I use is that Bard will clean it up, and it'll also let you know what they cleaned up and help you speak better with the written language. So it doesn't only just clean it up and fix it, it cleans it up and lets you know you can improve on this sentence. We deleted this because it's a double negative or whatever the case may be. So I use Claude, I use Bard, and I use ChatGPT. And when I have something that I'm working with, I will cut and paste it into each of them, let them search and clean it up, and then I'll look through them to see which one sounds more like me or which one I I prefer. And probably 70% of the times I'm going with Bard and then Claude AI. My least favorite actually is ChatGPT. Kelsey, I'll let you take it from here.
I was gonna say, Kimberly, what are you using right now? What would you recommend for some small business to use?
My team uses Chat GPT. I don't use any of them. Nothing. Only thing I use is Grammarly. So I use Grammarly in emails. Sometimes you want them to soften up uh, the when you're sending an email out, you want to make it more soften up the tone. But that's about all I use. I want to try to use Chat GPT, but sometimes I'm just so busy and caught up in the work that I'm doing and making sure that it's on point. I have not taken the time, but I after listening to today's presentation, I most certainly will be using Chat GPT, especially after what Jeff just shared. I know my daughter uses it. She's at school, but she uses it. She's a nurse, but she's getting ready to get her practitioner licensing, and so she's been using it. I was like, do it again, and I'm reading it. I'm like amazed, but yeah, I haven't. I know my staff uses it. I do know
that. So I think a lot of us are familiar with Chat GPT, and somebody in the chat just said, what's the average cost to utilize Chat GPT? Now I will tell you there are free versions, but then there's another version, the 4, that listen, if you want to go that deep, there's some people, a couple of my friends, they swear by it, and they say it's $20 a month. You can go that route. You can also do chat AI, and chat AI does a little more. It's a little more nuanced. Both chat GPT and chat AI have apps now, so you can download on your iPhone or everything you have. I recommend just paying that yearly fee. It's not even that much, and just use it. Chat GPT, I use the free version because that's what I do. And it does whatever you need it to do. As far as asking questions, getting just writing a more eloquent email, and then going back, and as Jeff said, you have to go back and read it because some of it won't sound like you. And so sometimes, make sure that's in your voice. And over time, it does tend to take on more the nuance of you as correct it, and things like that. But the most important part about using AI, again, is that it takes data and it takes learned behavior. And so as you type in more information, it prompts more information. It will give you back what you're looking for. And you can say, I've used the word just today. I said, can you write this with more brevity? That's the word that Jeff UC gets on me about. And it'll turn a whole paragraph into a sentence if it needs to. But I think those are good. One I want to shine light on is Opus Clips. Opus Clips. Now, this is interesting for those who do things like I do, where it's webinars and videos, and you're trying to take those videos and put them on social media. Opus Clips, you can actually upload a video clip, you can upload a YouTube clip. Yeah, it takes your video and you can drop it in there, and depending on how long the video is, it will say, "Hey, thank you for dropping this in here. We're processing it." And like I said one, we had an hour long webinar that I did for the what did we do? It was the Food Truck Association webinar we did about food trucks here in the city. And I took that hour long webinar, dropped that YouTube clip in there, and maybe 15 or 20 minutes later, I got an email say, "Hey, click this link. Here's your clips." And it took it into, I think, 6 different clips that had a heading. It had copy that I can put it on YouTube. I can put it on social media. And it was all, had the caption, not just caption, I mean, closed caption, like what do you call that word when it shows you the words you're saying?
Oh,
But it showed
wow.
all that. And it was crazy because it clips back and forth. And so it was able to capture the conversation and make it into those like clips where it wasn't just random sayings. It was like, oh, he said something important. I'm not sure how they do it, but it was able to take that conversation, and I sent it to the president of the Food Truck Association and said, look at this video. He said, how long did it take you to do that? I said, it was an AI tool. I dropped it in there. And so Opus Clips is something I would share with me that I think is really cool. And the more you use it, I think the more it'll start to understand what you think is important. But I would say go in there, drop a clip in there, and see what it spits back out to you, and work with it that way. But it was a really cool app that I mean AI tool that I've been using to edit videos that I do for like webinars and things. I know a couple of my friends use it for quick stuff with their podcasts. Of course, they have bigger things, but some of the stuff they want to get quick, just drop it in there, and it spits it right back out to you. It's not as instant, but it takes a little minute to render and process the video, but they do a really good job.
Kelsey, what I would recommend these business owners is to do. I know you talked about one that you pay a fee for and you pay it for the annual year, but I would challenge business owners to not pay for anything at this point and use all the free tools that are there because the technology is changing so rapidly that you don't want to get bound in a contract or an agreement and you're using this old technology and boom, something else new comes out in 2 months and then you're tied into that dollar amount. Because as small business owners, you got to flip that nickel 2, 3, 4, 5 times before you spend it. Because if you spend it on every little shiny thing you see when you're trying to grow your business, by the time you get to the end of the month, you don't have that money left to do other things. And try to be as cheap as possible because everything costs in business. Your email, your marketing, your social media, everything costs dollars. So if you can save that money, please do that before you spend.
Correct. That's a business life right there.
Mhm.
The last thing you want to do is spend all your money, because before you know it, you'll be it's just like a regular budget. You go back and be like, how many subscriptions do I have? I got, Hulu and Netflix and Prime Video and Disney and all this. Same thing here. You can be nickel and dimed out of your money if you have you're paying for Canva, you're paying for Chat GPT, you're paying for Chat AI, you're paying for. I just found a website called Zeni, Zeni. It's a site for accounting for startups. I shouldn't say it out loud because I'm not sure I haven't vetted them yet. But Zeni AI, Zeni AI. I actually have a meeting tomorrow with them. I found it. I booked the appointment and say, hey, let's talk about this to see if your financials for startups is real. But I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure they cost too. And so before you know it, you've used all your money and it's coming out $5 at a time. And you wouldn't by the end of the year, you spent $1,000 in AI technology that you've only used once.
Let me say
That's
something
why
about,
we say start small.
yeah, let me say something about looking for technology as it relates to your small business. There is something out there for everybody, but not everything is for everybody. So you have to do your due diligence and figure out, okay, let me see the top three accounting softwares for small business. Do your research, try to talk to the vendors, try to talk to other customers, look at reviews, and then select the best one at the most efficient price that you can pay. That's not going to really hurt your budget. And think about the end in mind. Your accounting software is going to last you a long time, as long as you're in business. And that's one of the tools between that and your CRM system that you do not want to switch up every couple of months or years, whatever the case may be, because that is critical data, your customer data and your financials. So when you select those two programs, you definitely want to be able to ride that for the long run. And sometimes it's not the cheapest one. So you may have to bite the bullet on going a little more premium when it comes to your accounting and your customer service. And to Kelsey's point, those small fees, your Netflix, your social media marketing, your Facebook, all those things, $5 here, $7 here, $15 here, that all adds up. I just canceled my Sirius um, prescription because I noticed that when I'm in the car, I'm either listening to something local like WNPR or 91.9, or I'm listening to a podcast. Very few times am I listening to music or just scrolling stations. So I said, that's $9. That's over $100 a year. That will add up. So it's just on the choices that you make and trying to be as shrewd as a business person as you can, because you're just starting or you're just young, and the more money you keep into your business, the better for that bottom
line. We're talking in the chat right now. I feel like we're having two different conversations. You're talking about not getting overwhelmed by starting small, and people are like, wait, back to this Zenny thing. What about Wave? And so there's an app called Wave, WAVE, and the Wave app is like an accounting program as well, similar to QuickBooks, but it allows you. It starts off free, which is great. And if you can send invoices, you can do payroll through there as well. I haven't used it yet, but I'm looking at it now. I've heard about it, and so Wave is also a thing. I know we a lot of times accounting is one of those things that we're like, how do I automate this part? Because that's the hard stuff. I also will let you know about Canva. I know most people are familiar with Canva, but if you are not familiar with Canva, Canva, Canva allows you, not only is it a woman-owned business and it is booming, it's one of the top earning women-owned businesses in the world right now. And I think she's like 30 something. But Canva is a massively growing program where you can design anything now. It was just like flyers and things like that, but now you can do documents. I think I've done resumes on there. I've done posters. I've done billboards. I designed a banner for Georgia State University using Canva. But now I also want to tell you that this presentation was done via Canva, and it's taken over just like if you were to do PowerPoint. This PowerPoint was done in Canva, and I will also brag that all the information that's put
Yeah.
into this PowerPoint was done using their AI tool called Magic Write. And so you can actually go on there, I typed in, tell me about ChatGPT and what it does briefly. And it wrote this. Tell me about character AI. It wrote this. Tell me about Bard. It wrote this. Um, and so it can do that as well, which is a really cool feature. You can just put in a little bit of information and it will put it into a presentation mode with the copy. And I'm not saying it gave me these images and everything, but they have templates that you can go and select the template and then input your information and then use their magic right to fill in the copy if you need help with that. And so it's really changed the game for presentations as well.
Let me address two questions, Kelsey. Jenna says I paid $20 for ChatGPT 4, and I'm able to use plugins in which has been a game changer. It's allowed me to search the internet and specific websites. It saved me tons of time. See, if it's saving you a lot of time in whatever you're doing, that $20 is worth it, right? So, Jenna, congrats to you. I haven't tried ChatGPT 4 yet, but I have heard a lot of good things about it. And then Ayana asked about, she said, she's been correcting her results in Word. Should I correct it in ChatGPT? I would say correct it in Word so you know how you put it in clean. Because the cleaner it is when you put it into the chat, the more accurate and detailed they can provide that to you when they spit it back out. Any other questions?
What
The
else we got?
last one I saw
Oh, there was
was
Q&A. I'm not ready for that.
was Ayana at 6:21. Is there anything after that? 6:28. Charlie, she said, I looked up Zena AI in the notes. They are
They do
books.
bookkeeping.
Okay.
But
Oh,
yeah,
folks,
so go ahead,
folks,
Jeff.
bookkeeping. You got to be really careful on who you select for bookkeeping because look at Kim's face. You have to be really careful on who you select to get into your books because that's like giving somebody the remote control to your garage to get into your garage and come up into your house. They have everything. They have your socials, they have your financials, they have your addresses. So it may be cool and cheap or not as expensive, but you got to be really suspect on who you let do your books. Kimberly, you want to say anything to that? Because your face said everything.
Jeff, you just scared me.
Right.
You know, and Jeff, I'm glad you said that because even though all these AI tools are, excellent, we still have to be careful as to how much we share. And that was my biggest thought. Like you're going through, I'm like, wow, it does that, it does this. How much do I want to share out on the internet? Because at the end of the day, like you just alluded to, you're putting your accounting information out there. I've seen people, business owners, where someone has stole their income tax. In other words, they filed the taxes for them and and kept it, and they didn't even know. They went to go file and they're like, you already filed, and they didn't. So that it happens because we put too much out into places like this, and then new tools are coming up. How do we know security behind them? So we
Right.
got to really be careful and really check. These are some really cool tools, though. I love the Opus clips. We're going to put the B-roll people out of business.
But you can utilize ChatGPT. Say, what are the safest AI tools for my small business or for my business, or what are the safest accounting or bookkeeping
Yeah,
platforms for small business? And you could put them into different chat boxes and see which ones come out because they're pulling not necessarily from the same data, but the same universal information that's out there.
No, that's true too. Yeah. So they're pulling from just replies. Like sometimes people, when we put in our reviews, so it's probably pulling from that, right? The 5 stars, 4
Right.
stars, 3 stars. Yeah.
But do your
That's,
due diligence as a business owner. You can't, because you can't blame anybody if something goes wrong with your business. You can't tell the IRS, hey, this person filed for, because your name is on that. They don't care who the crook was. You're going to be responsible for that.
yep.
So I got a couple questions in the chat. And let's go, let y'all know, and so everybody's aware that we're technically in Q&A session right now, where you
Okay.
can ask those questions. But one of the questions is, what are your thoughts on using items like Remote Co, Fiverr, or Upwork for bookkeeping? Now, if you're not familiar with Fiverr, Fiverr is a site, a website that you can go to, has an app as well that you can go to, and you can, outsource services, whether that's somebody designing flyers for you, somebody creating a rendering for you, all the way to, hey, here's my, I hope it's not saying, here are my tax returns. Can you put this into a document? But what are your ideas for that for bookkeeping?
I think if you think about that question, you can come to your own conclusion. I am not going to outsource my personal data to somebody that I can't see, touch, call, or go and choke their neck if something, okay? So my answer would be no, because if you can't go and deal with this person if something goes wrong, they're on the other end of the computer, on the other end on the other end of the web, and you send them an email, they just don't respond to you, and they're gone, and they have all your data. So think about that.
Understood. Understood. We got some people that said they agree. But I say it's weird because we're now in this digital age where, you know, yeah, I can pick a bookkeeper through the web, through an app. I can pick a girlfriend through the app too. You know what I mean? Like there's a level of trust that we have with the digital age that you're reminding us of cybersecurity. So the question here is there some cybersecurity that you would suggest? Because it seems like even the credit bureaus have been hacked. Is there any type of cybersecurity AI that you would suggest, or any type of cybersecurity information that we should be aware of?
Well, I think cybersecurity, broad that's a broad topic. I think that securing the tools that you're using is probably something to pay a lot of attention to. So whoever you use your CRM, let's say you use Salesforce. Salesforce is a big company, right? They have systems in place. Let's say you use the credit card, the payment system.
Like Zelle.
What'd you say? Like Zelle.
Zelle.
So Zelle is good, but
Mhm.
if you make a mistake in Zelle and you send it to the wrong person,
Oh
that
yeah.
money is gone,
Yep.
right?
Sell, Cash App, all
Cash
of them.
App.
All of those. And those
Square.
businesses, they have access to your bank account. It's a difference than having a credit card where you can say, hey, Amex, hey, Visa, hey, MasterCard, I did not charge that. Can we put that in dispute? And you can put it in dispute and they'll go look into it. But for Zelle and those cash apps, that's coming out of your account right then and there. And there's no repercussion on them getting that money back. You're just out. So definitely look into places, especially where your money and your finances and your personal data is key. Same thing for your email exchange. I know a lot of business owners, they just use Gmail. I wouldn't use Gmail for your business because one, it's not professional if you say, hi, ABC company at gmail.com. No, you need to have your own web exchange. So research the most secure web exchanges out there, like Outlook. Outlook is Microsoft.
Microsoft. Mhm.
A lot of security in that. So, and yes, it's going to cost you some more. Gmail is free. I know a lot of people use Google Docs and all of those things. Those are all free. But when you are using free stuff, you're kind of getting what you pay for. Stop, stop smiling. Said, Kimberly, tell me what you're thinking.
No, same. I was exactly what you were saying. You get what you pay for. And we also have heard of, a lot of folks getting hacked. The data's getting stolen from different companies. No, and a lot of them do have good security. We just got to be very careful, especially with our own information. Just
Right.
Yeah. We got a guy, Michael Council, in here says, I do cybersecurity for a living. The data is key. You need to keep your data confidential, maintain integrity, and accessible to you at all times. The IRS has some cybersecurity tips for business owners if you go to their website.
I like it.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, do some research. The time you spend, not saying this crowd, but the time you spend on TikTok and social media and scrolling and is really wasting time. Take that time to learn about cybersecurity. Take that time to research what are the top 3 to 5 CRM systems, most secure CRM systems for my small business. What are the top accounting systems for my small business? Who has the least amount of complaints for small businesses? Take that time and put it into your business, because not only working on your business is what you do every day. You got to work in your business, and that's key.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I'm gonna use this the rest of our time. If anybody has any more questions, oh, there is one. It says, "Do you have any recommendations for like CRM?"
I like what is that called? Let me think of it. There are a couple. Zolo is one. Salesforce is another one that I like.
Salesforce. Mm-hmm.
Microsoft has one. You know, their
Somebody wrote in here HubSpot, Dubsado.
HubSpot. Yeah.
Just depends.
The ones I prefer are a bit more seasoned and have been around for a while. I know the guy who talked about cybersecurity, he may agree as well. But a lot of the new ones, you don't want to go too new with your CRMs, because they may not last, and if they don't last, your data goes with them, right? So you want to be with someone who's been around for some time, and they have good reviews, good security. I'll be curious to see what the security person has to say on that.
We had another question in here. Say, any recommendations for Instagram Reels, apps, and hashtags to get more visibility? I'll tell you that ChatGPT does a really good job. If you write that into in a question, if you go to ChatGPT and say, "Hey, this is what I'm about to post," they'll ask you to say, "Hey, this is the post that I'm about to make," or "This is the video," and you kind of add some detail to it, and they will produce you a you say you can just write in Chat GPT honestly right now and say, hey, give me some hashtags about this. This is what my profile's about, or this is what my post is about, or this is what this video is about. Can you give me a heading? Can you give me a catchy first one-liner? And it'll do its best. And then again, you have to look at it, read it, and say, do I like this as well? Does this fit me? But the more you put into it, the better output. I think that's
Those,
in life.
those prompts, use your prompts. The better your prompts are, the better it will be. There is a site called, it's called the Prompt Generator. So you put in what you're thinking about doing, and it will list a whole bunch of options that you could cut and paste into the chat box to say whatever you're thinking about. So let's say selling cars. You put selling cars in AI Mind Prompt Generator, and then it will list many different types of prompts that you can put into the chat to generate those queries.
Wonderful. I think we got some really great content going on, and Michael's giving some great information in the chat as well. So I'm making sure I'm commenting so everybody can see it. Now it's 6:45. We have 15 minutes left. I want to take over the rest of the conversation and talk to you guys really quickly about some of the other things that we have going on with Invest Atlanta. And I'll cut my video back on now. It's back to me. So I thank you all. Thank you, Jeff and Kimberly, for your attention to this information. It's been phenomenal, but I would be doing you guys a disservice if I did not talk about this. Jeff oversees this program. It's called ATL in Business. It's actually a website. It's called atlinbusiness.com. It's right there at the bottom, atlinbusiness.com. On this website, you have access to no-cost consulting services, which is one of the consultants in there is Kimberly and her organization, the Urban League of Greater Atlanta. You can actually go on there and get the things you need. If you need a consultant to talk to you about marketing and say, hey, listen, I'm trying to market my company in this direction or this new product, and we're trying to put some strategy together for it. Or maybe I need some legal or finance assistance. You can go on there, sign up for the consulting, and it's at no cost to you if you are a City of Atlanta business with a City of Atlanta business license. If you have questions about a business license, just respond to my email when I send it out tomorrow, recapping this webinar, and I'll have the link to the webinar as well and everybody's contact information. So if you have questions about that, feel free to reach out. But we also have application assistance. So maybe your business is in a place where you're like, man, I need a loan, like a small business loan to kind of do the next steps of my business. And we have that for you. We have small business loans. Mr. Lonnie was on here, who's the guy. He just popped back in. Look at that. And we do have small business loans, and our interest rates range from 1% to 3%. We also just launched the startup loan program for startups that have been in business for at least 18 months and have an active MVP. You can apply for a loan for up to $150,000. And that's really exciting. I think that the interest rate on that is zero. It's crazy. But if you need assistance, like, hey, I've never applied for a business loan before. I'm not even sure what all it entails, but I know I have my financials. I know I have my business plan. I know my business is moving. I just need some money. Application assistance is what you want to get to make sure that your application is full and complete and all the documentation that's necessary is there. And so that also is at no cost. And guess who oversees that program as well? Jeff. Told you he's the man. Now, the last part is ATL and Business Marketplace. And before I talk about that, I want to tell you about the next couple of webinars that we have coming up. The next couple of webinars I'm super excited about because next week on Thursday, I have the Small Business Development Center. And so if you've never heard of the SBDC, the Small Business Development Center, they will be on our webinar next Thursday talking about their programs and their resources. Now, I'm bringing the SBDC to you because a lot of times we get phone calls about businesses and they're saying, I want to take advantage of Invest Atlanta's programs, but I don't qualify yet. Maybe my business isn't in the city of Atlanta yet, but I'm working on it. Maybe my business isn't ready to get a business loan, and I still want some of these services, but I don't necessarily qualify for the consulting services yet. The SBDC could be an option for you. They do a lot of no cost, free programs, free strategizing, free business assistance. And I'll have the two leads for the Atlanta market on the webinar next week, Thursday. So that's super exciting to have them because they have similar resources to us and it just may be available for you. And I'm pretty sure Kimberly's referred people to the SBDC as well.
Absolutely.
And the SBDC is also refer people to the Urban League. The last thing, nope, it's not. I got more. So next week, SBDC, December 5th, because we're going to have a great Thanksgiving. December 5th, we have another webinar, and that is also with the SBDC, but we're talking about how to get access to funding. And so we have the lead of the SBDC for Atlanta, and she's going to be talking. She has an accounting background, and she's going to be talking about how to start getting your business ready now to get funding. What does that look like? What are the financial documents you need to have? How do you start to prepare those financial documents? Because we don't want to talk about next year, talking about, oh man, I had a chance, but I didn't have my finances together. So let's go ahead now and get you prepared and let you know what it is you need and how you should set it up so that we won't have any excuses for 2024. So December 5th, the SBDC will be talking about how do I get access to this funding and what do I need to get funding. And then finally, December 14th, I'm super excited because I just sealed this deal today. We will have a webinar, and it is called How to Do Business with Delta Airlines. I'm gonna say that one more time. How to do business with Delta Airlines. Did you know that Delta has programs to not only get contracts and do contracts with Delta, but also that they have other incentives and opportunities for small businesses in Atlanta? And so they're looking for businesses to work with. And so they reached out and said, hey, can we do a webinar to talk about the opportunities that we have so that we can expose it and give access and opportunities to our businesses here in the city? So you're getting exclusive because I ain't told nobody yet. I just told Invest Atlanta we got this opportunity. And so y'all hearing it first, that we will have a webinar December 14th with Delta Airlines talking about how to do business with them. So I hope you're excited. I hope you're ready. I hope you tuned in. I hope that you've, signed up for Invest Atlanta newsletters and all that good stuff, because not only am I showing you what you need, we talk about AI, how to start automating some of these processes. Then we're going to talk about other resources to help your business get together. Then we're going to talk about finance and make sure your finances are together, because I'm bringing the big dogs, Delta, to the table. And Delta's not going to want to hear that your finances are jacked up. Delta's not going to hear that your business plan isn't accurate and that you don't know that I'm a one-man band right now. I know. That's why we have different automated services that we talked about today. I'm building up to something good now. And so Delta Airlines, we're talking about how to do business with them. And I want you to be ready. So that's the lineup for this month and next month. I hope you guys put your seatbelts on.
Right.
We'll be excited, and we have all the resources right here at no cost to help you get your business together so that we can take advantage of the opportunities that are presented here in the city of Atlanta.
I want to challenge the people on the call, business owners on the call, to address the financial part of this. Application assistance is really big. You are going to apply for loans, grants, whatever financial tools you need with whoever. You have to have your personal finances in order, because if you're not fiscally fit personally, you're going to be a risk for the business, the financial uh, the financial institution that you're looking to obtain funds from. That be it outside Wells Fargo, Bank of America, or Invest Atlanta, or Small Business Association, or whoever, right? So I want to challenge you to get your financial house in order, because you can't present a good picture, a good package, because that's what we do with the application assistance program. We make sure you look good on paper. So when you go to these financial institutions, you can present yourself in a good manner. But if your home stuff is not in order, you're not going to look good on paper. And I know Kimberly can chime into that, because she works with a lot of businesses that are trying to get those things in order.
Absolutely, Jeff. And then, Jeff, even when they're trying to apply for a grant, and we have a grant process right now in Cobb County, but even having that process in place, people have a hard time getting the right information in order, and especially the financials. They haven't filed taxes, so they can't get free money.
Right.
So again, back to what you just said.
Let me say something about taxes, folks. No one that I know likes to pay taxes. However, we all must pay taxes, because if we don't, those three little letters, IRS, they coming for us, right? And no one that I know has outrun them. They probably didn't catch you today or tomorrow, or next month or next year, but they come. And I know people have the concept that if I don't file taxes, or if I don't pay a lot of taxes, then if I don't show all my income, then I don't have to pay a lot of taxes. That's a misconception, because if you're paying taxes, that means you're making money. And that's what you get up every day to do. So work with a CPA, A CPA is a certified financial accountant. Certified? No.
Public. Certified public.
Certified public accountant. They went to school and busted their tail to pass this exam. There really is a really big difference between a CPA and a bookkeeper. So if you're working with a good bookkeeper and they're just doing your taxes and filing it, they just transaction. A CPA is going to make sure your stuff looks good when you file your taxes because you're the one on the bottom line, your name. So they're coming for you and they're coming for that CPA. And it's not worth it to the CPA to not have you put in accurate information, right? So do your research on what a CPA is, what an accountant is, what a bookkeeper is, so they can help you get those things in order. And then once you have your personal finances in order, then they can link it up to your business financials. And then you look good. You're paying your taxes. You're going to be a good risk for the banks and the financial institutions to take. Hey, Kimberly has her stuff together. She had a loss this year, but she made money the 2 previous years. Okay. But if you come to a financial institution and you've been in business 7 years and every year you lost money, why should they lend you money? Just think about it. How are you going, if somebody came to you for a loan, whatever that may be, $10,000 or $110,000, if you look at their paperwork and they lost money for the last 10 years, why would you lend them money? They obviously can't run a business. So begin with the end in mind. How are you going to look to these people?
We got one last question. It said, what's the difference between a CPA and a tax strategist?
Yeah, I don't know what a tax strategist is. I wouldn't mess with that. I would call a CPA an accountant or a bookkeeper.
Yeah.
And you could do your own research. What is a tax strategist and what do they do? If you didn't go to school for it, if you didn't pass exams for it, if you didn't bust your tail to get it, it's called easy entry. It's just like no slight on barbers, but it's not hard to become a barber, right? Because the entry into that business is very low. All you have to do is go get your barber certificate and boom, you're a barber. You can't do that to become a lawyer or a doctor or a CPA. That's why you got to pay those people for your time.
Now, to close this out, I'll add this to the tax conversation. We did a webinar last month with a CPA named Richard Wright, and he always says that the CPAs, they're I think a little over 1 million CPAs in the entire U.S. Of that, I think there's less than 10,000 that are Black. So I think there's like 1%, something like that. But also that he often gets phone calls because sometimes the IRS audits people, and then their tax returns have to be signed off by a CPA, meaning that the person that did their taxes might have been a tax strategist, but was not a CPA. And then sometimes they require a CPA to sign off on certain things. So a CPA is the certified um, accountant that can actually do things. But also, and when we're talking about business and loans and things of that nature, if you're constantly like, I'll break it down like this. A lot of times we make businesses because we have a 9 to 5, and we start a business because we heard that there's some tax incentives that we can write things off in our taxes because of our small business. And now we're trying to take that small business and make it something serious. We want to grow this small business. Well, if you continue to write off in your taxes that your business isn't making money, then when you go to get a loan, they're going to look at your taxes and say, well, your business isn't making money, so I can't give you money if your business is not making money. And so talking to a CPA and sitting down and saying, hey, this is what I'm trying to do with my business, they will be your tax strategist, and they will tell you what's the best thing to do and what best decisions to make financially for your business. But for AI, that's not what we're talking about. We'll have another conversation, another webinar where we talk more about taxes and business and how to do our accounting the right way. And we'll be talking about that when on December 5th with the SBDC. So I appreciate your time, guys. This is such a great conversation. Jeff and Kimberly, I appreciate you all so much. for joining and having this conversation. This was a very engaged conversation. We had over almost 80 comments and questions that have popped up, and comments that popped up in the Q&A. So this is very exciting. I appreciate everyone for this. I said we're gonna stop at 7 o'clock, and we will. So again, you will get an email with a link to this webinar that was recorded, and also the contact information for both Jeff, Kimberly, and myself. And I will also include the dates and the sign-up information for the next 3 webinars. So don't worry about that. But I appreciate you guys. You have a wonderful night. Be safe, and we'll be right back here next Thursday to talk with the SBDC about small business development. You have a great night.
Thank you.